morning. Morning, folks. Hope you're all well. Happy Wednesday. Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Welcome back. Amira, welcome back. David, Griffey, Martin, and Dale. Hope you guys are all well. Let me know I'm coming through okay before I get started. Morning. Yes, thank you. So yeah, I feel a lot better today. I think a lot of you could tell yesterday I was struggling a wee bit. I don't know. I think the sun probably took it out of me. But certainly refreshed today and ready to get going. Maybe the fact that the markets were terrible made my body ill. But it seems to be a bit better today, or there seems to be more stuff to look at. So we'll go through it. All right. There was something I was going to say before I get started, but it's just completely gone out of my mind. Oh, sorry. Yeah, obviously, it's the Fed tonight, right? FOMC. So I normally don't talk about the fundamental side, but well, I will slightly because it is quite important. I think this is a thing with news, right? You don't know what's priced in, what's not. It's very likely priced in a 50 basis point hike, right? What will be interesting tonight and what the markets will be looking at is what Powell is going to say regarding inflation and what they're going to say regarding interest rates. That's what I'll be looking for, and that's something to be aware of. That is, I believe, at 10 p.m. tonight UAE time, so another 12 hours away. There will be volatility. I am expecting, from a personal standpoint, negativity in terms of markets and reactionary to it. Possibly a little spike and then a fall, dollar, fall and then a spike. That's what I personally think is going to happen, but I'm not going to put a bet on it. That's just a Vegas kind of hunch. Martin, a Vegas hunch, so I'll go there and put my money on that. But yeah, ultimately, investors are going to look at what Powell says. So let's see, 10 p.m. tonight, UAE time. And always, for me, wait for the market's reaction to the news rather than the news itself. Let it digest and then play that direction. Okay, SPX today, we are still in corrective mode. There's no... always bet on black. Well, I would go. The first thing I would do when I'm Vegas is go and put $10 on red. That's what I always have in my mind when I first go to Vegas. $10 on red. I don't know if you remember the series Entourage. It was one of my favorite series ever. I think they put like $5 on red when they go. If it wins, it's a good weekend. If it's not, anyway. Morning, James. Morning, Silver. Morning, Leon. Okay, so yeah, I think here with the SPX from a 4-hour perspective, still in this corrective. I still think that continues. I don't expect a lot of movement today up until that news. Certainly with what's coming out in terms of FOMC and obviously NFP on Friday. And, maybe that'll give the market some kind of real direction, maybe some kind of impetus, although we have already got that. But daily perspective, technicals are still the same, possible pullback. But if we do get some bear sentiment from the 4-hour, it does look like it could move. So waiting for a real reason, essentially, from a shorting perspective, obviously breaking out of this corrective. From a longing perspective, breaking out of this and breaking out and closing out of this anchor, which I still think is a ways away. So pullback mode, essentially, pullback mode. The dollar. The dollar is still in this correction through time. It maybe doesn't look like we're going to get that ABC or deeper corrective right now. I'm still looking for a break above these highs. It doesn't mean it's bad. Whether we get this correction through time rather than price, that is still okay to digest this move. From a 4-hour perspective, we're getting there a little bit more as we go along. Again, the problem is this daily chart. I would just like it a little bit more if we are in that proper corrective. But, you can see on this a slight wedging structure. So in terms of fundamental theory, you're expecting dollar to continue to the upside depending on what is priced in. But what do we think in terms of intraday? Probably, possibly nothing until that news. And I'm just sometimes thinking a slight fall and then a push to the upside once the market does digest. So another one just to be aware of while that news is coming out. What's your thoughts anyway? Let me know your guys' thoughts. What are you expecting tonight for the dollar and for the indexes? You expecting negativity? You expecting, possibly a bit more hawkish sentiment out of Powell? What are you guys thinking? It's not all about me. I always like to hear your guys' thoughts on the markets. Anybody buying up? Anybody buying up stocks or buying up the index from a longer term perspective? I still need to get on it, Megan, to set up her bloody account. You think positivity, but the markets are going to continue to drop. Dollar up, SPX down. I think it'll be more hawkish. You think of 75 basis points? Yeah, there is talk about that. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I don't normally watch it, but I might try and watch what he's saying tonight. So, ultimately they need to slow down the economy, right? But let's see. Okay, watch this today. So we're in New Zealand Swiss still. This has been a slow burner, to say the least. But it seems to be just the last 8 hours or last 4 hours since that 4 hour closed, looks a lot better. Our stop is still okay. In terms of the news tonight, we've still got a little bit of buffer. So I'm not worried as much about the volatility tonight. But what I like about it is this. AB shallow C from roughly this area. We had not very nice, kind of horrible price action, but it's starting to neaten up just a little bit. We are within this. We could say we're in this. We could say we've got a head and shoulders here, potentially. So everything about this tells me this should move to the downside now, but it really does need to go. And, if we do get 8 hours here, maybe I think about moving my stop and reducing the risk, depending where we are with price, down to this latest anchor. But I still like it. I still like the idea of being in those risk-off assets. It's against the Kiwi daily perspective, it's still looking okay. We're crossing over in these moving averages now. Yes, it's still counter trend. Yes, we've kind of had this bullish bar here, but it's not technically a dark cloud cover. So, it's followed up by certainly rejection day yesterday and that ABC on the 4 hour. So for me, it still looks good. And we're hoping for some real movement. We're hoping for something like this, some proper fluid price movement to the downside. Maybe if we break underneath this area, it would obviously be quite good. But let's see. It's in now. Stop is reduced, and can't do nothing about it. New Zealand yen is a trade I've just put in as well, the one we talked about yesterday. So the digestion period is there. I kind of like this as well. As I said, I do have a risk-off bias, but irrespective of that, the technicals is telling me that this is a setup, and it is a setup. Reversal, nice period of accumulation. Not quite a head and shoulders, but certainly looking like squeezing into this zone. I did think about an aggressive entry here, but not quite enough volume over Asia for me to do that. And, and I obviously can't have 6% risk on the table either. So break out of this zone, not in this yet. Stop above that anchor. TP1 roughly around here, playing that risk-off sentiment. If it doesn't get triggered, it doesn't get triggered, but I'm quite happy with that particular trade. As we talked about with the daily chart, recent price action, or from an overall perspective, for me, doesn't look great for trend continuation right now. And we can see that impulse corrective outside bullish engulfer, digesting that engulfer as we see on the 4 hour. And for me, that's quite a nice idea to the downside. I know the yen's been weak, but as I said, in terms of where we are in the market, in terms of where we are in this setup from recent price action, yeah, I kind of like that. So New Zealand yen, if you break out that zone, decent risk reward as well for a slight move to the downside. New Zealand yen. Okay, so what else have we got today? Breakout retest is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is numero uno. Having a slight push here, that is okay. We can potentially look at an aggressive entry in here. I have taken my area. As I said, this wasn't as clean from here to here, but it is clean from here. Okay, so we've got our initial basing structure. We can use this as confluence. within this corrective period now. If it wants to push on, then fine, we just take it off. That's not a problem. But essentially looking at this, potential aggressive in here to come down and break to the downside. Okay, there's the 4-hour option. There's still that daily option, which needs a little bit more. And also there's a breakout retest option, which if it breaks above this area, I'll have to take off. But we're getting our basing cut with handle now here, and looking for this to come down. So 1, 2, breakout, retest, move to the downside. Continuation in that overall trend. Bitcoin makes sense to me. Again, if you can, we always can try and go with that trend. From a higher time frame confluence, the daily is still okay. It's not extended. Obviously, from a daily perspective, a breakout, we need this, which may happen. But there's 3 options there, all for shorting Bitcoin. Pound Swiss is another pound Swiss shorts. Pound Swiss shorts. That's not pound Swiss. Pound Swiss here, probably not as nice as Bitcoin, and it kind of needs to move now. It needs to break pretty much now, or else this period becomes a little bit too much for our head and shoulders view reversal. So I'd like to see this break. The good thing about it is we've got our 200 here, so our breakout retest would coincide with that 200, with that 20. You know, those dynamic resistance to price along with that breakout retest. The good thing about the head and shoulders or view reversal here is we're coming from this movement to the upside. So remember, the head and shoulders is that trend change context or trend change pattern, which would coincide with this larger daily trend. Okay, this isn't great. Don't get me wrong, this higher time frame confluence here is not great, but we do have an inverted hammer here on the 20. Again, we do have the power of the trend. It kind of tagged off this area here and looking to really break through this significant zone. So although it's not nice, it is impulse, potential corrective, continuation. Pound Swiss potential shorts on a breakout retest. But as I said, it needs to go kind of now, or else it gets a little bit too much for me to consider. Morning, Efo. Morning, Baka. Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand is another one. These can kind of hedge play this in case we do get some positivity. You know, there is the 4-hour option, which I don't think I did put on there. So 4-hour option here looks quite clean right now. We'll be crossing around the 200 if we get what we want. Again, if this comes down, it does need a little bit more considering the range of our basing structure here. You know, ideally we get the favorite ABC. Look for an aggressive up in here, but potential breakout to the downside on Pound New Zealand. 4-hour perspective, still got some ways to go. I did put I put a in my trend direction because, you know, although we've got this, we do have potentially this, and we do have potentially this, but we also have our rejection candles on the daily and most recent price action. So if the stock market decides to like what's coming out over the next few days, New Zealand should be a beneficiary on that risk on kind of asset, which you'd expect this to continue within that trend. But as I said, not massively nice here, but the trend is technically still to the downside, and I will continue to watch Pound New Zealand just to see. It's watching on the watch list. I don't have to take it, but it looks all right. Oil. I haven't checked oil this morning. In terms of our aggressive entry. The daily is still on, what I talked about yesterday. I'm starting now to have more of a feeling that this could push on, you know, because this is actually pretty nice, you know, getting into this to push on. There's no aggressive in here. There's no real entry. This is for me not really an aggressive entry, not enough. But yeah, I'm starting to have a sneaky suspicion that maybe oil wants to push. In which case, if we do get this and get our slight reload, this would be really nice. The problem with it would be, okay, what's the daily going to look like? Are we going to look like we're gonna start to shift here? In which case, yeah, we could. You know, we could. Breaking out from this larger wedging structure here, or it's not really a wedge. It's more of a squeeze, but you're kind of breaking out of it. So I still do like the idea of it coming down here and shorting it, but 4 hour is holding. You know, it is holding. So if it does push on, the context will be great. And, you know, maybe something we have to make a decision if that time does arise. We have a look at the weekly. The weekly kind of makes it a little bit nicer, does it? I mean, despite this particular bar, which ain't nice, but here, corrective continuation, right? But it's fundamentally whether, you know, do we think this is going to continue up to the 130, 140 mark? Maybe. Okay, done oil, done Bitcoin, Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie is another one. Euro Aussie on this daily chart. Another one that I'm going to put on whether I like to buy the euro right now will depend on what really happens tonight over the next few days. But we do have a structure here, right? We're getting our A, B, C on this daily. We can look at a head and shoulders here as well. We can look at that risk off nature. So despite what I think about the euro, there is something here, you know, and there potentially could be something if we do get this, you know, at this area on the 4 hour chart as well, i.e. our B wave, for a break to the upside. So even if the euro decides to continue what it does and have a little bit of a climactic, then we can still make money out of it. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's something there. I do like it. It looks nice on the daily. Again, we're getting that complex 20 pair starting to curl up, but it is more counter trend. However, since we've had this corrective, as I said, that head and shoulders is technically your trend change, you know, indicator, trend change pattern, and you would probably expect this to continue to the downside, which is not what we are getting. So, yeah, Euro Aussie. If we can get, what day is today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as well. It probably be something that we relook at on Monday. And if we get something, you know, possibly like this, and then a decent bar, let's consider NFP on Friday. Let's say it positively affects the euro and negatively affects the dollar. This would actually look not too bad. Euro Aussie. But let's see. Something that, again, I'm just watching. Pound New Zealand done, and New Zealand yen. Oh, that's it. I think that's it. So probably my favorite on the basket is I do like Bitcoin. I do like pound Swiss if it decides to go. Oil will kind of know in the next few days. Bitcoin I've done. Euro Aussie I kind of like. Pound New Zealand I kind of like. And New Zealand yen I'm obviously already in, and New Zealand Swiss. So I like where I'm positioned. I do like where I'm positioned, and I do like the fact that we're having a bit more stuff to look at. And I do like that New Zealand yen trade. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Okay, anything you guys want me to look at before I head off? Good to see so many of you on the stream this morning. Yeah, I could tell that a few of you realized I wasn't feeling my best yesterday, so I appreciate the messages after the stream. But... yeah, I mean, yeah. Beware the volatility for the next few days, but yeah, I'm expecting a little bit more negativity, I have to say. UK 100, I did have UK 100 silver. I know exactly what you're looking at because I looked at it as well. I think so. Yes. I don't think I like this part. And to be honest, I probably should have put on my watch list. You know, the context is good, right? So you could say, well, loss of momentum here, impulse, loss of momentum, a little bit more harder reset. You know, the last few days have been good. Indexes do move slightly different. V reversal there on the 4 hour. 1 hour chart is nice. Little bit more of a pullback in here, back to that roughly around that 20, digesting this would be nice. Breakout retest. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put that on actually. I think maybe my bias in terms of shorting everything has maybe got in my head there. But I did have that area. I did look at it, and I think I was like, well, do I put this on? Do I not? I think the daily was probably putting me off a little bit, just because, just because of this area. But then you have got this. Back above that 20, obviously from this larger. So although it is not nice, it is higher time frame confluence, and your context is pretty good. Yeah, that's valid, Silver. That's valid. Looking at it again now, it is valid. From here, context is good. Context is good. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, let's watch it. I think it's certainly worth a watch. Looking at it again, the UK 100. There's no harm in well, like I said, there's no harm in watching it, right? Context is good. I just have my questions over those higher time frames. That's the only thing. So technically it is trend. Yeah, I know. I agree. Yeah, I looked at it. And 4 hours is actually pretty nice. 4 hour is actually pretty nice. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I do like it. I just worry about that. But anyway, we can watch it. No problem to watch it. Just waiting for Monday to start my challenge. Yes, so I need to message you privately, Martin. I need to message you privately about that. I'll do that right after stream. Because we'll need to get you set up with your FTMO account. Euro yen. Also, well done, Martin. So, even you guys watching, Martin passed his what do they call it? The free trial? No, the FTMO. What's it called? It's gone out my head. Yeah, the free trial, right? The free trial. So he passed it last time he did it. So well done. Ready for his real one now. Ready for the real one. Ready for the real world. EURUSD 1 hour down. Euro yen 1 hour down. Yeah, I don't see the context just yet, but it would have to reset up from here for me. Something like that, breakout retest. The idea of it, yeah, I kind of do like positioning into the yen. Again, the dailies, these yen dailies are just a mess. The issue is this, right? In which case, obviously, we have to look at the other edge of the sword. Is yen's been weak, and it's just pulling back, and then we continue with that yen weakness, which obviously can happen. But it would need to properly set up. If you're looking down, right? Yeah, squeeze. Yeah, squeeze into there, yeah. But for me, because of this, right? If you had it here, it kind of had to break there, right? Very similar to what we talked about with pound Swiss. Kind of needs to break, right now. So this for me would have to reset up. For a breakout retest to the downside. But yeah, I can see what we're looking at. Squeeze into the zone. In which case you could get it, right? You could get that breakout retest, which will kind of continue on that. 1, 2, 3. It's certainly a valid trend line. So little tip on trend lines. If you are new, what we normally say with the trend lines is 1 touch or 2 touches, it's tentative. 3 touches, it's valid. So this 1, 2, and you obviously got a touchdown here. So 3 touches, it's a valid trend line. Yeah, squeeze into it. If it resets up, would make sense. Would make sense to me. Put alarm at the zone. Ryan just drew and wait a couple of candles, confirm the bias to the downside on silver. For me, the zone has a lot of validation. Oh, I thought you were talking about silver, the commodity, not silver as in the the member of our community. Yeah, I don't actually use alarms. I did try alarms for a little bit, but I found that I kind of knew what I was looking for, you know. So I know I'm just looking at a few today. This is just for me. I did try them, but I think scalping is probably good. But you know, if it helps you, it helps you. Yeah, you could just go down in here and then set an alert, right? But I also found that sometimes I missed it. You know, I missed the alert because maybe I was downstairs making breakfast or something and didn't hear it. Aussie dollar 30-minute up. Okay, are you close to finish the update? Not really, Leon. Probably about 6 weeks. 6 weeks away, I would say. There's a lot of stuff to be done on the back end. To be honest, so yeah, I think maybe 6-7 weeks ago. 7 weeks away. So it'll be a wee bit of time. Hey Sam, no problem, mate. I have no problem. Okay, yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Aussie dollar. Okay, Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar 30-minute up. Looking at here. Got a bit of confluence with a counter trend idea on the daily. In terms of that outside, like a little bit more volume there. Still slightly a bit of a wick, but you know, I wouldn't be selling it. Here, we've got to be aware of that 200. That would put me off here. This 200, unless you tag it and you fill those orders. So if you fill those orders, come back and retest. Then yeah. I don't like that as much. If you're giving me an option to the other ones, I prefer the bias on the other ones rather than buying the Aussie dollar. But I can see a reason. You know, I can see a reason for a pullback. And yes, could we see some weakness in the dollar coming in? Yeah, maybe. I don't foresee it. So I think in terms of your UK 100 and your EJ, I think that's a better option though than Aussie dollar personally. I think. All right. Anything else? Before do you agree with that, GJ? Another look at natural gas. Yeah, I'll have a look at natural gas, David. GJ, let's do GJ first. GJ, what are you thinking? 1 hour down. From there. Yeah. Again, I like the bias. If you're looking to squeeze into it, I like the idea of selling GJ. If you break out, I can see what you're looking at. You can include this in here as probably a bit more confluence, right? But you're looking at the same thing as EJ, right? So yeah, breakout retest. Your breakout be underneath that 200. You know, you're maybe looking at this here from recent price action. Corrective in. Breakdown would make sense. Daily as well, losing a little bit of momentum, although price action is not very nice for me. Yeah, I agree with the bias. Breakout retest. Yeah, agree. Okay, natural gas. Let's have a look at natural gas for David before I head off. So I won't, you know, we haven't got any entries in for the 50K FTMO, but obviously there will be a $200 winner, which I will announce on Friday. I'll do that actually, I'll do it on the Friday morning stream. I'll do that because I don't stream on YouTube on Friday. Anyway, I'll do this on the Friday morning. The $200 winner. Remember, if you want to be entered, you have to be a full member. You can't apply for this. This is just me giving away $200 because just to say thank you for somebody who's working hard, good member of the community, and appreciate you being with RTFX or with me. Yeah, so we got that push in natural gas, right? It was looking okay. We have got this now. Roughly around this area, slight fake, right? Kind of breaking from deep, so a slight fake out here, but it's not got any follow through. It's not got any follow through. So if we go back to a daily, you know, it's kind of motoring on, right? It's kind of motoring on. So I think we did say yesterday, let the market tell you. You know, I think it was, where was it? It was roughly around here. Saying let the market tell you if it wants to create B wave, which is it didn't really do, and it came up to the highs. And I said you got a slight fake out here, but it's not really taking. It seems to be pushing. You know, it seems to be pushing. You know, now for me, a break of these highs, and that just trend, you know, breaking close, that trend continues. There's obvious momentum here. As I said in the 4 hour, it did look nice yesterday from a 4 hour perspective. I just didn't like how extended it was on this daily chart. So do I think, you know, as I normally say, do I think this from here is going to do another one of these? Personally, I don't. But that doesn't mean that it can't push on a little bit more and then have a proper corrective, in which case it would look a little bit better. But from a 4 hour, you know, if this was a technical faking out, you'd expect it to fall, and it's not done that. It's not looking too bad to just continue that trend. You know, maybe you could get this potentially break to the upside, but momentum is there on natural gas. Long bias, yeah. But then I wouldn't long it either, David. Personally, I wouldn't be longing it either. I think there's better things to trade than buying that at the top. Not saying that's the top, but you know, I prefer a deeper corrective. Certainly, if you've got a long bias, you'd be looking to buy it on a bit more of a discount, right? Before you go long. But momentum is there. Momentum is there. So could continue being long, short on a day trade basis. Okay. Hey, as long as it fits your strategy, then perfect. Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. If it fits your strategy, the trade is good. Just keep doing the same things day in, day out. Got to be boring. Got to be very boring, and that's how we make money. Boring people make money. Right, great to see so many of you on the stream. I think this is probably one of the most we've had, which is great to see. Remember, again, FOMC tonight, 10 p.m. UAE, 7 p.m. UK. I'll be watching the Champions League semi, so I'll be paying attention to what's happening, but I certainly won't be trading it. Happy with my positions, and just be aware of that volatility. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Trade safe. I'll see you all in the morning, where we'll dissect what's going on. All right, guys, trade safe. Peace.